Itakat kokeny chitab Kalenjin kimite ak ng'omutyonyo tonyo nebo betutab rani Raphael Mwili ne ng'ololwech ak konetech akobo weketab koristo, ne newechi koristo, ibu ne, kakekas mionwogik cheterter chotok cheibu ako kitesetai keng'ololi akobo nito. Before we took our break, we were discussing about the waste management. We are aware also that even the health facilities also generate waste. How do you manage that?
Thank you. Yes, for sure. Hospitals generate a lot of waste. And for Nairobi, we produce approximately 125 tons of medical waste per day.
That is medical only?
That is medical waste. So, and this waste definitely is not managed as the other waste that goes to Dandora dam site, because it's highly hazardous, and we cannot allow that kind of waste to end up there. So it is treated differently, and we ensure that the 125 metric tons of waste that comes from the public facilities in Nairobi is well managed. And actually what I talked about segregation is done very well at that level. We have what we call the sharp waste. We also have what we call the hazardous waste and highly hazardous waste. And then we have the general waste. So the segregation is done at source, and every waste is treated differently. So that particular waste ends up in incinerators. And it is burned, and the burning process has to be very effective, because at the end of the day you want to ensure that that particular waste is inert. It can not cause any harm to any human being. But the biggest challenge that we are facing is the emissions that come from these incinerators. And that's why I said for Nairobi County, we are advancing, getting better technologies to deal with this kind of waste. And we've started, we actually have an incinerator in Mutwini that is called a microwave incinerator, which is supposed to combust waste and will not produce any emissions. So the dioxin and the furans that are emitted, which are carcinogenic, like I said, will not be emitted. So this is the new technology that the county is embracing, so that we do not have, so that will have reduced the level of carcinogenic pollutants into the environment. Yes.
Thank you about that information. Now, Doctor, there is premature deaths, about children, premature deaths in relation to air pollution. What do you have to say about this?
It is true. We have premature deaths,
yes.
And I told you there are quite a number of effects that come from inhaling some of these pollutants. And the most advanced, the worst of them all is what we call PM2.5. It is so tiny that it gets into the system and lodges into the lungs. So it is true, like for Nairobi, the average number of stillborn babies is about 2,500 per year. That's a big number. And some of these stillbirths, you cannot sometimes relate it to air pollution, but it does. It does somehow connect to matters of air pollution. So we lose babies in the infant stages when they are still in their mother's womb, because to some of this excess exposure to some of these pollutants. That is why we are saying that the issue of pollution is to be given the attention that it deserves. It's high time that every person or every ministry pulled their resources to ensure that we reduce the level of pollution, because there's so much adverse effects. And like I said many a times, it's not what we call acute. You can be able to say within today, tomorrow, in a week's time, that you can be able to see the effects. These are chronic conditions which take time. So the effects will come after a period of time, although others, depending on one's immunity, can be within a very short time. So it is true that we lose babies, and we've been losing babies due to some of these pollutants.
Yes. Does it also like contribute to genetic deformation?
Yes, it does. It does. Air pollution has a lot of effects. It has a lot of effects. It has a lot of effects that affect us as human beings, and not even human, even the environment. The environment is definitely polluted. We have the water that is contaminated by these pollutants. At the end of the day, that water is drunk by animals. At the end of the day, some of it gets into their system and launches, and some of the animals, we feed on them. And at the end of the day, is what we call the food chain. You will end up eating something that probably is launched in a muscle of an animal. I mean, these things are happening, and I say there are quite a number of effects. So many effects that affect human beings in the process of exposure. So we need to ensure that we limit. We need to put regulations and policies and enforce. One of the biggest challenges that we are having is enforcement. Because if enforcement was done, then, for example, the vehicles that smoke should not be on our roads. The factories that are emitting some of these visible pollutants should be there, and they should come up with better, because there are better, more advanced technologies that can be able to do what they are doing, but reduce the level of emissions that are in our environment. Yes.
Tell us more about these policies.
There are quite a number of policies at the national level that are basically meant to mitigate air pollutions. The climate change policy document that is basically geared to ensure that we live in a safer environment. We have the air quality action plan for Nairobi that is currently putting mitigation measures that should be put in place so that we can be able to reduce the level of pollutants in the environment. Then we have what we call an integrated urban strategy that is there basically to look at the infrastructure and the issue of mobility, vehicles, and the kind of pollution that they are causing to the residents of Nairobi. So all these documents and legislations are available. But what I'm saying, we need to start enforcing, putting pressure so that people are protected. Because at the end of the day, it's us, the government, that should protect the populace or the population of Kenya and, for that matter, Nairobi. Yes.
Has the parliament been of help?
Yes.
Enforcing policies you fight for?
Passing the legislation, I know for Nairobi County, what I'm calling the air quality action plan is already a policy document, and I really want to thank the Nairobi County Assembly for ensuring that it is a document that can be now used, because it went through the assembly. So yes, we have to work with them. We have to work with the political wing. We have to work with the media, the fourth estate. You are the people that needs to advocate. This is part of what you're doing to ensure that people are aware, people have the knowledge. And it is a collaborative approach, because you cannot make it alone. We need all partners to pull hand to hand so that we can be able to actualize this. Yes.
Like we have a lot of programs, government programs or NGOs about the climate change. Are you involved?
Yes, we are part and parcel of it. We give our contribution to what needs to be done, and like I said, we are monitoring there's a robust surveillance system that gives us data and information on a daily basis, so that we can be able to see what needs to be addressed and how it needs to be addressed. And we keep on meeting and keep on putting our heads together on what needs to be done. Definitely, we also look at other developed countries, what they've done, and we borrow a leaf, and we can be able to use the same strategies that are used out there for our population in Kenya.
Yes. When you mention about our neighboring countries, how is it? How, like for instance, Tanzania, Uganda, doing about this?
Well, I might not speak so much for those countries,
yes,
but as a country, I know we have made bold steps and tangible steps towards doing something on matters of air pollution. When I talked about neighboring countries, I was talking about advanced, developed countries like in Europe. That's what I was referring to, that we are borrowing a leaf, some of the strategies they are using, so we can ensure that also our population is protected, so that we ensure that our population is living to an old age. There's countries where their life expectancy is at 100. Yes, Kenya is at what? 65, thereabout. So, I mean, not doing very well. So, and some of the
better.
Yeah, we can do better. And some of these pollutants, if they are eliminated, probably the life expectancy will still go up, so that we can be able to live for long. Because sometimes you might not know what caused the disease. Sometimes you get sick, but probably when proper retrospective steps are taken to see what could have happened, most probably you'll find air pollution was the cause. Yes.
Yeah, I mentioned about our neighboring countries because I know when you are fighting a war, you may need your neighbors also to fight theirs, so that. So I don't know about the summits. When you have your summits,
yes,
do you have East Africa?
Yes, we do. We do. Those summits are there. Those we have workshops across the East African community, and we know there are talks, what the other person is doing, what you're doing, and we exchange notes. What are the challenges that you're facing, what the challenges you're facing, and how can we be able to mitigate and make them better. That is done, and we continue doing that, because without that collaboration, then we might not be able to achieve much. And at the end of the day, we are social human beings, and the world has become a small village, because in a matter of hours you are in Geneva and you're just here. So the world has become a global village. So people move a lot. People with the new developments where you can move into neighboring countries, people move. And we also want our neighbors to have a safer environment. So that collaboration is key, and that is what we are looking at as a government. Yes.
That's good. And now, what else do you think that we need to put in place so that we prevent all this?
Awareness, awareness, awareness. That is what needs to be done. People need to be told. People need to have the information. People need to have the knowledge. People need to know that this is happening, so that in the process of an awareness, then there will be a push for people to demand that they also want a safe environment. So that is number one. That is key. Then I also talked about enforcement of legislations that are there, so that we are able to stop and mitigate and be able to prevent people from doing what they're doing, because somebody can do that unknowingly, but when they have the knowledge, then they'll be able to look for alternatives. So that is what we are doing. That is what we are continuing to do, so that we ensure. And also penalties. Sometimes, like for example, in Nairobi now, we are having very hefty penalties if you're crudely dumping waste. So that is in place right now, and it's being enforced. So you just don't throw your waste anyhow. So we will catch up with you. So please be careful as you dispose of your waste, because and we are enforcing and ensuring that it is enforced at all levels in Nairobi County. Yes.
There was a program which was like cleaning of rivers. Is it still on?
The cleaning of rivers project is still there. We have a very robust department in Nairobi City County that deals with the issues of water pollution, and they ensure that even the water that is in the rivers is safe because of quite a number of factors, marine life and all that, and the aquatic life. So I mean, quite a number of measures are being put, and we've tried to clear the around the rivers, so that people don't do their business there, to prevent the contamination of our rivers. So yes, to answer your question, yes, that is still there. We want to ensure that our water is equally safe, and at the end of the day, it can be used for other purposes like irrigation and the like. Because if polluted water, somebody uses it for irrigation, then the likelihood of the same
food chain,
contamination in our to our plants or to our foods is high. So that is being done. So we are at it. Yes.
What about industries? We know that there are many pollutants. They emit so much pollution. So how have you addressed?
What we do as Nairobi City County is we monitor. One, there is the effluent and discharge that comes from some of these factories. We take samples, so we analyze, and at any point we find any high level contaminants, or what do you call them, heavy metals, then we are able to take the person to court. But we also educate people. We give the industries information and knowledge so that they are aware, because there's what we call pre-treating before disposal. So they have to have mechanisms within their premises. They pre-treat the effluent before discharge, because on a regular routine basis we have a team that checks on that, including the workers that I talked about, who are exposed to fumes, who are exposed to dust, who are exposed to small pollutants in the environment. So we are there to check and be able to educate and be able to mitigate and be able to give solutions, what needs to be done. There is the issue of even putting on what we call PPEs, protective gear, like putting on a nose mask and that kind of a thing, including people in Jua Kali. When you go to Jua Kali, you'll find people, artisans, working without protective gear, and probably that person is probably welding, and in the process of welding there's the fumes that come from the welding, and that person is inhaling. So I mean, you need to educate this person on the adverse effects that might happen to this person, and the importance of protecting themselves from some of these pollutants that are found in the process of welding and doing other activities. Yes.
Talking of that, Mr. Mwili, it means there is a lot to be done, because if you pass by Jua Kali sector, in fact, like that welding, you find people with very hot red eyes, and you would tell that this person's eyes are really destroyed already.
Yes. Yeah, it's about education. It's about giving information, and it's just a matter of time. And we tell them, why would you lose your eyes just because of refusing to put a face shield or goggles that will be able to prevent you from seeing the light when you're directly when you're naked eye, when you're you educate and tell this person, my friend, it's just a matter of time and you'll not be able to do. You'll not be the breadwinner of your family because you'll not be able to see. So with that kind of information, then somebody will now realize for sure I should take precautions so that I can be able to protect myself, including the fumes that come out of the process. You will end up inhaling, and it might cause adverse effects. You might start by coughing, something. You might start by, feeling as if your chest is tight. Those are some of the small adverse effects that are happening, and it is in the process of your work that you are causing that. So what are you supposed to do? Take precautionary measures as an artisan and be able to put measures. So even in that sector, we call them for meetings and forums. We have sitting with them and be able to educate them, because that is the only way that people can be made aware and can be able to take steps towards protecting themselves from some of these adverse effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you have to tell the border guys? Because I think they are most at risk as well when they are using the roads, because most of the time you see they don't have the right outfit, and they are on the roads following these vehicles and meeting all this. What do you have to tell them?
Safety starts with you. Safety starts with you. And the earlier you protect yourself, the better for you. If you don't put the right gear that is recommended, then in the event of an accident, you're the body. For the border rider, you are exposed, and the likelihood of you getting hurt and probably even losing your life is very high. So, but if you have an helmet, and in the event of falling, then you'll be able to be cushioned by the helmet. You'll be able to be cushioned by the gear that also protects your chest, so that because you are exposed to a lot of wind as you ride your bike, then you'll be able to ensure that your body is protected. In the event of collision, I mean, you have the necessary gear. You have what is protecting your knee, what is protecting your elbow. In the event of a fall, at least the accident or the collision, and you'll not be as hurt as much if you have than when you don't have. So these are some of the things that we educate our people, but ignorance is there. People ignorant, they feel it's very uncomfortable. You talk to them, they tell you, I don't feel comfortable in this thing, I feel better. But what is better? Is it the comfort, or is it about your life at the end of the day? In the event something of the sort happens. Mm-hmm. So there are those that take it in and take it very seriously, and they are always protected. And they know the effects. I tell them, go to Kenyatta and see a full two words when motorcycle riders that have fractures, their legs, their spinal, and probably you'll not even ride that bike again. Mm-hmm. So it is important that you take the necessary measures to protect yourself. And I said, it starts with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to love yourself so that you can continue doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do they even have unions? Because I'm thinking sometimes if they had unions, maybe they would ensure that everyone has that gear.
Yes, for Nairobi, there is a union for motorcycle riders. That one I'm aware about. They have their own circle that manages them. And we meet them and we educate them. We give them information. We tell them the do's and don'ts. We tell them why it is important to do A, B, C, D. So those are key things that we ensure that we educate our people on and ensure that our people are protected. Mm-hmm. Yes, so the only thing you can do is give information. Yeah. Although the government is also putting regulations in place and policies in place for this particular sector, so that we can have them do what is supposed to be done at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's awesome. And I hope the same applies to a few cyclists, because I don't think we have the bicycles.
The bicycles.
Yes.
Sure. It's the same thing. We tell people, we educate them. Mm-hmm. We tell them safety starts with you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about your life. Mm-hmm. It's about you. It's about taking precautions, taking measures to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Awesome. Now, I hope this applies now that we are concentrated today with Nairobi, I don't know if the same info should really be practiced on, should reach the upcountry riders, because this has been an issue. I mean, a day won't pass before you hear of an accident of a motorcycle, and they are the most affected, as you said, because they are just not in the right gear every other time.
Yes, I know that it's a countrywide thing. It's a countrywide thing, and I know awareness creation and circles are being formed of these motorcycle riders, and I know different counties are doing different approaches to reach them, including the national government. Definitely, the Minister of Transport is at it. There are policies, and but. The biggest challenge, the biggest undoing that we have is enforcement. So we need to ensure that enforcement, we have very good policies, we have very good legislation, but when it comes to enforcement, they're not there. For example, look at Nairobi today. You're supposed to be going one direction, and the motorcycle comes from an opposite direction, and he doesn't care. He's the one who is actually flashing you lights that you should get out of the way, and he's on the wrong side. I think that should stop. That kind of behavior is unnecessary, and this sector should be controlled and contained. We should not have this kind of things, and it paints a very bad picture. You can imagine you are on Kenyatta Avenue, and a motorcycle is coming from a different direction, opposite direction, and is facing you. And I don't know where we lost it, because it's like the police are also unable to control them. So it is not good. Paints a very bad picture. Paints us as if we are uncontrollable, as if we've thrown the laws to the woods. I think that something needs to be done to ensure now this particular sector is controlled and monitored, so that it does the right thing. They are doing a good job ensuring that they ferry people, they ensure that and very convenient for movement. But at the end of the day, some of their actions, I mean, they make us look bad. They make us look as if it's a country of lawlessness. Yeah, so it does not, as if we are living in a jungle. I mean, you go to some countries, there is order. There is order, and you cannot see some of these things. So I think something needs to be done to stop that kind of vice, and be able to, ensure any person breaking the law is prosecuted and fined, and some of the fines should be heavy fines, so that this person does not repeat the same and becomes a lesson to others. Yes.
In fact, you are right, because you see the same with the matatus. Now they are very reckless and making new turns anyhowly. I mean, you just say.
It is sad. It is sad that we live in. Sometimes I ask myself, what can be done? Because it's annoying. It's annoying. We need to have order. We need to have some discipline in how we conduct business at the door. We need to have some decorum in the way we carry out ourselves. And I think discipline has been thrown out of the window. The matatu sector is not disciplined at all. They have their right. They want to, bulldoze you. Sometimes they want to, show you that you are not supposed to be here. They call, I mean, it is sad, but I mean, those are things that needs to be corrected as a country. I think we need to correct this like yesterday.
Yes.
This needs to stop, and it needs to stop like yesterday. I'll be happy to see a country where there is order, a city where there is order, a city where the matatus are behaving, a city where the motorcycles are behaving, and people move seamlessly. And some of these accidents that are caused is just due to human error, because if you're moving, you're driving in the wrong direction, and I mean you collide with a vehicle, and in this country you'll collide, and 550 of them come and surround you, and they want you to admit you're the wrong.
Right.
And if you joke, they will. It becomes very difficult. So I don't like what is happening. Go to any country, or any county in this country. I mean, the level of lawlessness is
on
another level. And actually this needs to stop. Somebody needs to, whip and say enough is enough. Let's
That's
have
right.
order and sanity
That's right.
in this sector.
In fact, I sometimes see and I say, these are, I mean, all this is just free money. Instead of taxing the people, why don't we just fine these people? Because at the end of the day, if they are fined heftily, as you said,
Yes,
the government will have money,
that is the only way.
more than enough,
That is
to
the only
make
way.
the people follow the law.
The law, yeah. If you hit a fine of 100,000, a person will not repeat, because
Yes.
that is almost another motorcycle.
You're right. You're right. So as we finish, what's the home tech now to our people as pertains to today's topic?
Well, what I want to say, the issue of air pollution is real. We are having a lot of pollutants in the environment. That's one thing that you know. And the pollution is causing ill health or diseases to the population. And it's high time that we started pushing and ensuring that we have a safe environment. And all of us, every one of us has a stake in this. And it's until we put our act together, be able to pull resources together, we'll be able to put in place the policies and make them work for us, the better for the entire country. Because when we continue living in this kind of an environment, we will not live to our full potential. So we need to address this like yesterday. It might not seem as if it's a big thing, but it is a very big thing, and it needs to be addressed like now. We want to ensure that we reduce and do away with some of the pollutants that are in our environment. If our life expectancy is going to go high, then the issue of air pollution needs to be addressed like yesterday. And I've talked about the effects, I've talked about the illnesses, I've talked about the conditions that people are facing, I've talked about premature deaths that are occurring, and this needs to be addressed. And policy implementation needs to start being enforced so that we can start having some measures put in place to be able to address the issue of air pollution in this country. We can do it. We have what it takes. We have the brains, we have the strategies, we have the know-how, we have the knowledge, we have the capacity. So I do not see what can stop us from having an environment that is free from some of these pollutants. So we are there. We are Kenyans. Kenyans belong to all of us. We are living in this country. So we need to make this country a better place to live in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Willie.
Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
you for coming.
Asante sana.
We are grateful that you had to spend your time
Thank
to
you.
really educate us about this air pollution. And I'm sure we've taken so many notes from you.
Thank you.
And we're going to implement that.
Thank you so
Ko chitap kalenjin kakibosit yutak tetutiet nyo notok nebo tililindo rani kakinetech tuguk chechang mising ko chetinyegei ak koristo, ribet notok nebo koristo. Ingen tuguk notok chekonu koristo neya chekakemwawech. Ribkei mising ko kakemwa akobo ngalek chebo bodaboda. Koiti ketindet noton nebo bodaboda ilach tuguk chemokotin komie asikobit irib tegeng'ung. Kot ko ichito neyoe welding ilach tuguk chemokotin cheribe konyekuk kala asikobit komutai kotaitindoi kasarta nebo kotaibelse iyai mung'areng'ung nyambuch ko kale sobenyo korekune miten nguno en kenyisiek 65 cham kemwoe kele ngisir 65 ko bonus ko chotok che miten emetab Kenya nguno. Ako kimeche ketokostae kale ndakiribe koristo ak iribkei asimachutin koristo neya kowendi kokanaptoksei. Imuch keit akot 100 kou emotinwek alak chotok chekikorib koristo kotililit kotestai igere Kass TV tetutiet nebo tililindo asinetkei tuguk chechang. Kainenyu ko Chesankaro nebo Arap Sirma, kakimitei ak Raphael Mwili ne inendet ko ng'amotiot nebo ribet notok nebo koristo ako kora boisie eng kibagengeit notok nebo konyoik nebo Kefu. Kotestai igere Kass TV kimnatet naet.
Thank you.
Leo niko na